When you reach the nest, you'll find the baby. You'll have to slit its throat. Down inside its... Don't ever write a check with your mouth you can't cash with your ass. Thing. Don't wake the mother.
A while ago, I had written a script for myself, and there was a sequence in it that made me think, how can I make a film that can have action sequences in it that aren't limited by the physical realities that normal people are limited by, but still have the story make sense so it's not, and I don't mean to be mean, like a bullshit thing like Ultraviolet or something like that. So, what is it Zack Snyder says? It's Alice in Wonderland with machine guns. This is Sucker Punch. And, wow, what a movie. Welcome to Goth-Metal lore. I'm in a positive mood right now. I'm going to dedicate this one, I think, for Amaya Miller. So maybe I'll post this one up on Instagram and Facebook. Because I think if Amaya had been born in... if she had been born in the late 80s, early 90s, I think she would have been doing this movie, probably. She would have been the person here. And here's the cast. Zack Snyder directed this. We don't need to really remind, but if we do have to. Deborah Snyder helped produce. Emily Browning got Baby Doll. You've got Jenna Malone. Rocket, you got Abby Cornish. Who makes it to the end as Sweet Pea? You got Vanessa Hudgens as Bundle. Amber is Jamie Chung. There's a few more. I think Oscar Isaac is in here. Oscar Isaac is, what's his name? Blue Jones. Carla Gugino is the doctor you see who leads the girls, who teaches the girls to dance. A lot of different people in here. There's different people. I don't know who the fat chef was. Oh, Malcolm Scott. Yeah, Malcolm Scott was the fat chef. Yeah. Scott Glenn was the wise man. So there's a lot of different people in here. It's basically what it is so you had two sisters, right? Two daughters. You had an abusive stepfather, and the mother dies. We don't know how the mother dies, but she dies. Maybe the father beat her up too many times. Maybe he cheated on her. But he's an abusive piece of shit. And so Baby Doll accidentally kills her sister. Now, somebody mentioned that the theatrical version of Sucker Punch, she shoots once, and then she kills her sister with the one shot. But there were two shots in the Snyder cut, right? The Snyder cut. So I have not seen the theatrical cut. I've only seen this cut that's proper. Not 4 hours long, but still a great cut. And I want to believe that Rebel Moon parts 1 and 2 is on this level of quality. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to see about that. Because I find the plot to this interesting. It's Alice in Wonderland with vulgarity and machine guns, sexuality. It's very modern. I think Amaya Miller would have made a great lead for this kind of a movie. Because, I mean, just the psychedelic horror of it. You get to be a badass with machine guns. Yeah, I mean, I kept picturing her sometimes in this because I think, yeah, this is a role that she could have fun with. I mean, she could have fun with this role. And like Amaya, when she poses, sometimes she has that moody, not sad, because she's not sad, but she has that kind of moody, slightly sad face when she poses in pictures. And when I see this, it just reminds me of her. So yeah, she could do this. Really could do this because I think that's anyway. I'm doing a what if praise of a universe that doesn't exist, but here we are in this universe, and in this reality, it's very good. So the girl kills her sister. She doesn't kill the stepfather. The stepfather has her committed to an insane asylum because Baby Doll kills her sister. and tried to kill her stepfather. The mother left the property to the two daughters, but it's like the stepfather's a piece of shit. Um, so she's in the insane asylum. She's about to get a lobotomy of some type, and the whole movie takes place within that moment where it's a dream within a dream within a reality. Because the reality is she's in an insane asylum, and she's about to get like her brain picked, and we see a hyper realized version of Hollywood with very violent Harvey Weinstein type people, of course, and we see a sort of an exaggerated version of being in an insane asylum. You know, it's like we know we're in an insane asylum, but why are we in a place where it's like it's a whorehouse and women are being abused? And then within that, then there's this reality of being, and that's the sort of the Goth-Metal lore part of it, is the the castles, the brainiac robots on the train, the the giant samurai golem robots in the temple, and the wise old man plays a vital role. I now think that Trafficked kind of copies a little bit from this. I know because with Trafficked, and this is where I kind of thought of Amaya, because Amaya Miller played a child of a flashback to one of the main characters in Trafficked with Naomi Judd and or Ashley Judd, actually Ashley Judd. And so in that one, you have girls who are uh, kidnapped and thrown in a van and then taken to Mexico, where they're treated like whores to be bought and sold by different people. And they make a plan to escape. And at the end of that movie, it takes place on a bus to where the guy is looking for the girl on the bus. Um, this movie ends the same way, but this movie came before Trafficked. So I'm wondering if the people who made the movie Trafficked did a little bit of copying. I'm not sure. You never know. It could have been. Because at the end of this, the one girl who gets away, the girl here on the right, she gets away. This is taking place, I think, in the 1950s, early 1960s, somewhere in between, around the JFK era at the latest. So the girl on the right, she gets away on a bus and takes off, and the baby doll stays behind. She basically there's some key things happening. She has a knife. She uses a fire to burn one of the pad rooms for the padded rooms for the insane people. She uses a knife to stab Oscar Isaacs, and she has a map. She gets a map of the whole asylum so she can look. She can know her way around. And then uh, after the fire, after the knife, then she uses herself as a way to get her friend to escape. So she gets her friend to escape out of the asylum, and then her friend gets on a bus, and the wise old man is there. We figure out that the wise old man is the bus driver. Kind of looks like Orville Redenbacher driving the bus, so it's funny. So many things. So what we're seeing here is the hyper reality, because I think there's four fantasies. The main fantasies that we're dealing with here we're dealing with the reality, and then we're dealing with the whorehouse fantasy. But within that, we're dealing with four scenes. One is the temple in wintertime with the giant samurai robots. Then we're dealing with the giant sort of mech warriors that you see here, right? These ones here. These ones here you see. This is when they're fighting in the trenches, right? So they're fighting in the trenches like World War One with these giant robots, and there are these ugly monsters that look like the parademons from Darkseid's camp, and they fight them in the trenches with these giant mech warriors. kind of like Titanfall. And then after that is the castle with the dragon. Then the 6 foot tall Brainiac robots with the on the train, and they gotta blow up the train, and that's the four fantasies. So Baby Doll's story is pretty much done when she gets the lobotomy or whatever. She's like completely different looking. I mean, she looks clear, like her face is clear. It's just in the facial reactions because we don't see her face much at the end until we see her face, and her face looks devoid of any feeling. It's almost like her face is happy, but not exactly happy. It's like as though she's looking at the sun for the first time in her life. That's what her face looks like. Baby doll's face looks like she's looking at the sun for the first time as it comes out, like the sunrise. Like, oh, that's a sunrise. I've never seen that. And the Oscar Isaac's character is punished and is like locked away somewhere, and then or arrested. And the other girls, not sure what happens to them. They were killed in the fantasy within the reality, but I'm not sure. It's just a lot of confusing shit. So Baby Doll's still there. Not sure what her fate is. I suppose maybe she'll tell what happened with her stepfather. The stepfather doesn't get punished. Kind of sad, really. And but at least one of the girls gets away. That's the whole point, I guess. So at the end of this movie is a message saying who gets us to dance, who pulls our strings, who gets us to move when we move, and who gets us to not. I'm not gonna repeat the exact words. I don't fucking remember. Who gets us to sit? Who gets us to stand? Who gets us to walk? Who gets us to pause? And the answer is you. You are in control of your own destiny, which is such a great. I don't know what happened with the theatrical version of what got cut, but if significant shit like this got cut, that's fucked up. That's at a time where Zack Snyder was trying not to get his stuff cut down. We'll see how it goes with Rebel Moon. But let me give the score for Sucker Punch. If I've made any sense so far, you're here with me. Congratulations. If I didn't, oops. But it is a dream within a dream within a dream within our reality of things. I'm going to give it an A+. plus. I actually really enjoyed this one. The gore is there. There's a lot of gore in the fantasy. It does get a little bit bloody. The creatures are interesting. The fantasy elements are very good, and it's very dark. Really, she's just being an exotic dancer, and in that exotic dancing, she's acting out these dark fantasies, these psychedelic horrors, these fantasy horrors, these things that are happening. I wish I could say the same about Rebel Moon, but the greatness is lost in translation. So yeah, I think it's worth the watch. You can't rent this on YouTube. You can only buy it, but it's worth the what is it, the $11.99 or whatever it is, $9.99, whatever I paid for it. It's worth it. And yeah, I think this goes right up there with Justice League and 300. So Saturday, I'll be looking back. We're going to return back to the ABCs of Death. But I want to just talk about with all of you the Champions of Zorb. See you Saturday. I like it when you hear, and I love it when you return.